In today's video, we're going to build some of the most iconic home consoles of all time. So sit back, grab your controller, your Mountain Dew Code Red, put your Xbox away, because we're building Nintendo consoles today. What's up, gamers? So I am super psyched about this one. Today, we're going to build every single Nintendo home console in LEGO. 3 things. If there's anything that I love as much as LEGO, it's Nintendo. Specifically, beating my 4-year-old at Super Smash Bros. You lose! 2, these are not meant to be life-size replicas. If I wanted a life-size replica of a Nintendo Entertainment System, I would just go buy the official LEGO release. What? Instead, these are meant to be kind of smaller, shelf-sized versions of those. Look how cute that is, right? And number 3, I did not build any of the color TV game systems that were only released in Japan in the 70s and early 80s. In America, we didn't have those. I didn't even know they existed until a couple years ago. So I did not build one of those. This is going to be the Nintendo Entertainment System, the SNES, the N64, the GameCube, the Wii, the Wii U, and then the Switch 1. Okay? If you want to build a Switch 2, take the Switch 1 and make it black. Alright, so as they say, the best place to begin is at the beginning. The Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES, was first released in Japan in 1983 and came over to the States in 1985. And just like the real system was a lot of fun to play, this LEGO version was a lot of fun to build. Out of all of these, this one's probably my favorite. Mostly because of this very satisfying feature I was able to incorporate. The reset button and the power button can both be pressed in and then pop back out. Some other fun details on here is the opening game hatch, and then the AV and power cord ports on the back and the side. I even built a little controller for it, which can plug into the front of the system. And another one of my favorite details is this game cartridge that I built. Unfortunately, it doesn't actually fit in the system, but if I cut away here, it looks like it might. Now I wanted to show you all a side-by-side of what this looks like next to the real system, but I searched high and low and I just couldn't find it anywhere. I did, however, find some accessories, thus proving my credentials and improving my overall gamer score. Please believe me! I found some controllers, the old zapper, and a stack of my old games, and also a stack of some old games from someone named Michael. My name's not Michael. And I have no idea where these games came from. So either A, I made a really good trade when I was younger, or B, I bullied a kid and took his video games. And I would never do that. Please believe me! Alright, next up we got the SNES. And this was the first game system that I ever had. I remember playing Mortal Kombat 2 and having to hide it so Mom didn't find out. And this one was a lot of fun to build. It came together cleanly in a couple different parts. And at this stage, it kind of looks like a Romulan warbird. I'll show you what I'm talking about. You see? The front was kind of tricky on this one. There's these kind of raised platforms that the power button and the reset button are on, so I had to use a combination of brackets and modified bricks in order to achieve that. But I think I did, and I'm really happy with the way this one turned out. I even managed to get some functions on it. The eject button can be pressed in, and the power button and the reset button can both be moved back and forth. But it is a little finicky. I also managed to add a vent and some input ports on the back. You know, I also had to try to make the controller, which was really hard at this scale. And of course, I also made a little game. Drop a comment if you know what it's supposed to be. One thing I forgot to show off earlier was these little ridges on the bottom, just like the real system, which this one I was actually able to find. And of course I found one of my favorite games of all time, Super Mario World. My SNES was basically a big gray box that played this game. What's your favorite SNES game? Of course, next up is the Nintendo 64. And this was actually the first one of these that I built, and I'm really proud of it. There's lots of tricky techniques, especially around the front to get the game controller ports and the N64 logo. Now I know a lot of people went with PlayStation at the time, but I was always a huge Nintendo fan. I remember playing couch co-op for hours and hours and hours on Mario Kart 64, especially the Versus mode. I really enjoy playing Mario Kart 8 with my family, and I'm looking forward to the new one, but I hope the new one has more Versus mode options. The last couple games have really gotten away from that. If you're enjoying the video, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. It really helps the channel, and I love hearing what y'all have to say about the builds and finding out what you want to see me build next.
Some of my favorite parts on this one is on the back where I managed to build some of the input ports, and I'm also really happy with the logo on the front. It's only 3 pieces, but I think it does a good job of looking like the original logo, especially at this scale. And I thought it would be a fun challenge to try to make some of the cartridges, so I made everybody's favorite game, Donkey Kong 64. What, that's not your favorite game? How about Mario 64? And one of the hardest parts of this build was the controller, but after a lot of trial and error, I made something that I think looks really good. When the GameCube came out, I thought the Nintendo 64 was just an old system I'd never play it again.
Oh no!
This was at a time really before emulators and virtual consoles, so I traded it into GameStop. And who would want to go back and play an old game? The newer games are always better.
Hello!
Right? But my lesson was learned, and I would never do that again.
Ooh.
The Nintendo GameCube. Like I mentioned, I traded all of my N64 stuff in to get this, and while some folks were disappointed in the system, I was not. You got Smash Brothers, Mario Sunshine, Wind Waker, Metroid, Resident Evil, Beautiful Joe, Pikmin, Paper Mario, Rogue Squadron, flippin' Star Fox Adventures. Ignore the haters. It's Star Fox fighting dinosaurs. And literally the best game controller ever made. The system was legendary. In my life, I've probably spent more time playing GameCube games than any other system. And even though it's just a cube, this one is probably the most complicated build out of all of these. If you do want to build any of them, there's a link for all of the instructions in the description. I was trying to think of a cool accessory to go with this one, and the first thing that popped into my mind was the congas from... and I found the perfect parts to make them. But for the life of me, I could not figure out how to get this 3x3 tile to attach to the bottom of this barrel. I need the world's smallest stud reversal. If anybody has an idea of how to connect these two pieces, please let me know. Since the Wii was reverse compatible, I did keep a lot of the GameCube games. That means I still have the best game, F-Zero GX.
Show me your moves!
And since I had such a great time on the GameCube, I didn't regret trading in my N64 at all at the time. And I thought trading in my GameCube for a Wii would yield the same results. I wasn't entirely right.
Can we talk about the intro for this next part?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to say it.
They're fine.
I don't want to say that.
Wow.
It's dumb. People are going to think I'm stupid. They're going to make fun of me.
Going for now.
I get it. It's the name of the system.
That's right.
So funny. I just don't like it. I don't think it's funny.
Too high.
I know what I signed.
That's good.
I know what I signed.
You're down fine.
I want people to take me seriously, dude. I'm a serious LEGO YouTuber.
Wii is what I was saying when I first got Nintendo's next console. The system had a lot of great games, and the motion controls, at first, were pretty cool. As for this LEGO version, it's pretty simple compared to the others so far. The system itself is pretty minimalistic, and I think I did a good job capturing that in LEGO form. It's basically just 2 tiled panels held together by some brackets, but I was able to get some details in there like the vents on the back, the USB port, and some of the other inputs. I even built a little stand for it, and of course, the Wii remote. Even though it's simple, I think it looks pretty good, and I made sure to include the most important detail, the strap for the Wii remote. Fortunately, I still have my Wii, and the best game for it, Call of Duty World at War. I do have a copy of Wii Sports. It's in one of those old used GameStop cases. Do they still sell games like this, or do they print box art inserts now? Even though I did enjoy the Wii, I much prefer the GameCube. Thanks to the backwards compatibility, even though I don't have my GameCube anymore, I can still play the games. And thankfully, the Wii still had inputs for the GameCube controllers. And to me, the GameCube versions of most of the first-party games are much better than the Wii's. I had more fun with Wind Waker than Twilight Princess, and don't tell anyone, but I think Mario Galaxy is kinda dull.
Okie dokie.
On to the Wii U. This is the only Nintendo home console that I've never owned. I was working a lot, and I didn't really play a lot of video games at the time. I've probably only played a Wii U like 3 or 4 times at friends' houses. From my limited experience with the system, it kinda seems like a Switch, but with less portability. I guess Nintendo had to walk before it could run. As for the LEGO version, I think it turned out pretty cool. The console itself is pretty basic, kind of like the Wii. It's just a black box with some input ports on it. The gamepad, however, is a little bit more complicated. There's a lot of snot techniques to get the screen and the buttons on there, but I think it turned out really well. Even though I never had a Wii U, from what I've heard, I might not have been missing out on much. Did you have one? What did you think of it? And finally, Nintendo's most popular home console, the Switch. And next to the DS, it's their second highest selling console of all time. And the Switch is basically a portable system too, which is kind of ironic. I think Nintendo really figured out the formula with this one. The eShop can give you access to lots of current, retro, and indie games. The first-party games for the system are excellent. I've probably put more hours into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe than any other game. And the Switch is especially a great console for families. The LEGO version is pretty simple, the Joy-Cons do detach, I even built a dock for it, and because I wanted to do something extra, I made a little Link amiibo as well. I do have a confession to make though. I may beat my daughter at Smash Brothers, but she beats me at Mario Kart.
But that's it for this one. What did you think of the video? Did you have a favorite Nintendo console growing up? Did you have a favorite build from this video? Let me know down in the comments below. I love hearing from y'all.
Thank you so much for watching the video, and don't forget, if you want to build any of these, a link for the instructions is down in the description below. I have them up on my Rubricable and my Patreon page, and they're cheaper on the Patreon. The Patreon has 4 tiers of support, as well as a free one, but members of the Ultimate Builder tier get access to hundreds of PDF instructions. But again, thank you so much for watching, and a big thank you to my Patreon supporters, especially Stan, Zach, Wes, and Jim. I'll see y'all in the next one.